Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. I want to apologize right away for any background noise because I am doing my voiceover outside today. I just needed to be outside as a mood boost, and so I hope you will pardon the traffic noises that you will likely get, but maybe we'll get some bird noises, so that could be a bonus. At any rate, I am here with a third bonus challenge over at the Counterfeit Kit challenge group because it is Lisa's birthday this month, and she is our hostess this time around, and she wants us to use the idea of sprinkles. So I'm going to sprinkle my layout with snowflakes. And here we are getting started. I have some photos of us at the Christmas tree farm last year, cutting down our Christmas tree. I did pull out a new snowflake emboss and cut die from Pink and Maine that I got at a recent event. And I'm going to be using that to create some snowflakes to sprinkle. I have pulled out all of my Counterfeit Kit supplies. And then you'll see me kind of struggle with what I want to do with this page because I am telling a Christmas story, but I did not create my kit with a Christmas theme as was the inspiration for this month around because I like my kits to be more flexible. So I'm going to try and find the papers that will work best. And I thought I wanted to use this kind of washi tape type print because it has that downward flow to it, which would go well with the sprinkles, but it's just way too busy and I had to eliminate it. But I realized this pink paper, while it is printed horizontally, you can totally turn it vertically and that will lend that downward motion to this layout that I was looking for from the other paper. So that will work nicely. I have got my fancy quilted paper there that I'm going to mat my focal photo on. And if you haven't seen me create that paper, I will link you up to the video where I made that one. I am going to double mat this focal photo so that it stands back from that busy background just a little bit more. And so here I am getting it all layered up. But I just love that quilted background. And I've used it several times mostly as the kind of the star of the show. And here it is just doing a smaller job as the layering mat. So that is a nice, another way to use this paper. So here's the bones of my layout. I have room for a title, room for my sprinkles, and room for some journaling. So I have moved on to getting all of those things in place. Here's my title. I did not put extra glue on my letters, which I should have done because nothing is sticking these days for me. But I pulled out my brayer and tried to do it that way instead. Now here is the center of the paper I used to frame that pink. I had gutted that paper because I am running low on papers in my kit so that I would have it to use with something else. And then I decided I think it will work for my snowflakes. I do want to mute it down a little bit, and I'm going to do that here with white pigment ink. And this is something newer I've been doing. I usually mute things down with gesso, but I tried this recently in a video, and I liked how it came out, so I'm going to try it again here. So I'm just muting down this paper with several layers of pigment ink, and I think that's the con to this method is that gesso is a little better at muting things, but it also takes longer to dry. So I am testing out this pigment ink. Now you can see on the right hand side, I did get 3 large snowflakes die cut, and I knew I wouldn't be able to get many more than that because they are pretty big. And then I realized I do need a smaller scale. So I took the piece of green that I used to map my photo and I muted it down with white pigment ink as well. And I set it off to the side to dry while I work on other parts of the layout. I'm going to pop up these main snowflakes onto some chipboard frames, and that will give them a little bit more emphasis as I add in more layers to these sprinkled snowflakes. I am detacking those frames because they are sticky frames, and I want to do that so that I can move things around because I am just having a hard time on figuring out how I want the flow of this to go. But finally, I decide on something that I think will work, knowing that I need to add in more bits and pieces to really make that go. I did pop up the last one on some foam strips because that quilted mat has quite a thickness to it. I thought it needed a little more depth to make it over that mat where it's overlapping there. So here is where I am adding in more snowflakes. I am using the same green as that cardstock in a stamping ink to create more snowflakes. And because my ink pad is dry, it is giving a mellow green, and that goes well with my toned down green since I had put the white pigment ink on there. And now I am trying to create randomness out of these snowflakes with the idea that it is heavier at the top and it kind of fades away towards the bottom to give that sprinkled look, and trying to get randomness out of purposefully placing things I find challenging. Usually I will just sprinkle things directly on my page and glue them as they land. I don't know why I didn't think about this time. I guess I was worried about, the cardstock bending and stuff. But I do that with sequins, so why not these things? At any rate, I decided they needed yet another scale of items to be included in this sprinkly pattern. And so I pulled out some gems. I did go looking for sequins at first, but I ended up getting my attention caught by these gems, which have two colors to them. There's like a sapphire blue and then a very pale tealy blue on there. And I used those tealy blues to do my journaling. And then I decided, yep, the other side needs more in that flow of sprinkles so that it really does look heavier at the top and lighter at the bottom. And adding in those lighter colored gems over there helps add more to it without it being like in your face blue, overwhelming more, is what I'm trying to say. All right, and then at this point, it's just a matter of adding just a few bits and pieces to embellish up this layout. A couple of phrases, which I'm going to end up moving around a little bit because I need them to be in a better visual triangle with everything else that I've got going on, and it was not working over there by the snowflakes. So I get all of that settled down, and I will glue those embellishments down, and that is going to finish off this layout for this time. I hope I shared some ideas that inspired you in some way. And if I did, I'd love to hear about them. If you could leave me a comment, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, you can just give me a thumbs up, and that really does help my channel more than you might think. All right, as I leave you with these close-up photos, I will say thank you so much for being here. If you are celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow, I hope you have a fabulous holiday filled with love and friends and family. And I will be back on Friday with some more crafty goodness. So until then, have some artful days.